What is up, coordinators and naturals? I am just a simple new type, and in this video, we're going back to the Cosmic Era as we begin our coverage of Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Destiny Astray. Last time, we followed Canard and Prayer as they concluded their battle. Prayer passed away due to him being a failed experimental clone. After his death, Canard went on with his life as a free man, but never forgetting the compassion of Prayer. In this episode, we will learn about Jess Rabble, our protagonist of this story. We will also say goodbye to Lowe and Kisato for a little bit, but not before he gives Jess a parting gift. So let's get into this. The prologue begins in CE 71, where we see the Battle of Yakin Dway and the end of the First Alliance Plant War. After the war, the Junius Treaty was signed, but it took months to actually put ink to paper. During this time, the war struggled to slow down. Our story will focus on this time frame. It starts in October of CE 71, 5 months before the treaty will be signed. For some context, the Battle of Yakin Dway ended on September 27, CE 71. We meet our protagonist, Jess Rabble. He is talking to Matthias, who wants to give Jess a job. Jess is good at journalism and piloting a mobile suit, and he really doesn't want this scoop. He takes the job regardless. He goes out into space to the coordinates that Matthias gave him. As he spies, he stumbles onto the rehome and the red frame. Without noticing, the red frame instantly takes him out. Lowe and Guy capture him. Lowe is a part of the Junk Guild, and Guy is a part of Serpent's Tail, the mercenary group. If this is your first video, I would go back and check out our Gundam Seed Astray coverage. Jess thinks that they are a part of Zaft. George Glynn pops out to tell Lowe that they are good to go. Lowe tells Jess to look outside. He looks out to see the Junk Guild team using the Genesis variant. Genesis is the giant gamma ray cannon that was used by Patrick Zala and Zaft during the Battle of Yakin Dway. This seems to be a prototype that was made before the original. Lowe is planning on using it as a propulsion system to get to Mars faster. Jess calls him stupid. Lowe essentially tells him that it ain't stupid if it works. Enemies are coming to their location. Guy goes out to stop them. It seems Guy and the Serpent's Tail's job in this whole situation is to protect the Junk Guild. Zaft is coming to destroy the Genesis variant. It is a violation of the current treaty that is somewhat kind of in effect at this moment, and they want to destroy the evidence. Of course, the Junk Guild wants to take it to Mars, so it would be in unexplored space where no rules currently exist. Guy and Elijah start fighting Zaft. Out in the distance, someone fires onto Zaft. It is Canard Parnes in the Dreadnought H. The YMF X000AH Dreadnought H is Prayer Reverie's original Dreadnought, but modified for Canard's needs. The H is actually the Greek letter Eta and is also a reference to the H-shaped backpack. My Japanese skills have been stuck at an intermediate level now for a decade, but is this witty and clever to the average Japanese viewer? It always comes off as X-Men levels of silly to me. Anyways, Canard removed the Dragoon system as he wasn't able to use it. He added more Vulcans to the head. With its new backpack, it has a long-range attack form, as well as a short-range attack form. It also still retains 2 tiny Amir Lumiere shields, which comes from his old Hyperion Gundam. It still has the submachine gun, Ram Technica beam knives, and the N-Jammer Canceller, as well as phase shift armor. Canard is repaying a favor back to Lowe by helping him. Lowe lets Jess go. He says that he was completely wrong about Lowe and that he wants to travel the world taking photos to break those misconceptions. Lowe says, "Cool, I have an investment for you." Lowe shows Jess the Astray Outframe. The ZG-MF X12 Gundam Astray Outframe is made using a broken mobile suit that Lowe found inside of the Genesis variant, and Lowe being Lowe decided to fix it up. We will learn later that the broken Gundam is known as Testament Gundam. It is a worker mobile suit, but due to the unit's origin, it is very capable in battle. The Outframe is capable of attaching striker packs used by the Earth Alliance. It has the same cockpit as the Justice and the Freedom, which means absolutely nothing now that we saw those 360-degree cockpits in Gundam Freedom. We will see some cool loadouts with this unit, but it is usually equipped with a Schneider combat knife, a beam rifle, and a beam sign, which is the equivalent of that thing that tells you that the lane is ending and you gotta merge over. You know what I'm talking about? One backpack that Jess will equip to the unit is the Back Home, which is essentially a backpack tent for Jess, equipped with a beam coating and smoke grenade launchers. Another important special feature is the gun camera, which is a high-res camera that he will use on the battlefield. Lowe opens the cockpit to find 8 hanging out. 8 is an artificial AI in a suitcase that helps Lowe control the Astray red frame. 8 doesn't want to go to Mars, so 8 decides to stay with Jess and the Astray Outframe. Before taking Taking off, Jess takes a photo of Lowe and Kisato. He launches in the Outframe. The professor and Liam are with Serpent's Tail. It seems this adventure is just Kisato, Lowe, and George Glynn. Everyone watches as they take off, wishing them a safe voyage. After they leave, Jess announces to the Zaft pilots that he has shots of the Genesis and will announce to the world of its existence. That is when a random mobile suit pilot comes in. Back on Earth, we learn that the pilot is Kate Madigan, a veteran that essentially saved Jess after making that announcement. He passively aggressively thanks Kate. Mattias gives Jess his next assignment. He wants him to go to South America, where the EA are trying to kill one of their pilots, known as Ed the Ripper. As we know, the Earth Alliance is made up of a series of nations who live on Earth. The Atlantic Federation and Eurasian Federation were the biggest, but another nation was the United States of South America, or the USSA. In November of CE 71, 2 months after the Battle of Yaquindue, the USSA declares independence using military force. A series of infighting is now happening. Mattias assigns Jess to head to South America and gives him a press pass to go and get an interview with Ed the Ripper. Kate Madigan will come in and help if he gets into any trouble. Mattias wants Jess to take the overland route, which is considered a neutral territory, so he shouldn't run into anyone dangerous. Jess heads to the Andes Mountains. He reaches the top and camps out for the night. Here we see the Outframe's back home in use as it carries everything he needs to camp for the night. He heads to the other side of the mountain range and stumbles onto the Zaft base. He also happens to stumble onto a shuttle carrying Zaft reporter Bernadette Lowe. Before they go to interview Ed the Ripper, Bernadette tells Jess that he smells. I guess the back home doesn't have a shower. They enter a room to find Ed the Ripper eating, you guessed it, a burger. He doesn't have too much time, so he asks the 2 reporters to interview him at the same time. Bernadette comes in quickly with a question regarding geopolitics. The whole time, her internal monologue is telling her that Ed doesn't have the image of a hero and is somewhat frivolous. We don't actually hear Ed's response, unfortunately. We just get the reporter's internal dialogue. Then Jess comes in with a scathing question. What kind of women you into? He laughs and says he never gets questions like that, but then answers by saying he likes jiggly titties. Nice. Suddenly, the alarm goes off on the base. Bernadette heads out, but Jess wants to follow Ed into battle and capture as much as possible. Ed heads out in the Sword Calamity. A series of Raider full specs heads their way. The GAT-333 Raider Full Spec is a variant of the Raider Gundam that we saw, the biological CPU Clotho pilot. This unit is designed for long-ranged aerial assault. Apparently, the Raider Gundam in Gundam Seed is a rushed version of the suit designed to hit the ground running as the war was ramping up. The full-spec version is its fully realized form. This unit has sub-wings, which gives the mobile suit superior aerial performance. This unit can also perform in space. It launches in mobile armor mode and uses a catapult launcher. Its specialty is the King Cobra infrared guided missiles, making these units great bombers, which you don't really see too many bombing runs in mobile suit. Let's see some more bombing runs. It also has an atmospheric re-entry pod and trans-phase armor. Ed mentions that he used to be a test pilot for these units and knows all their weak points. Jess is stunned as he watches Ed the Ripper tear through his enemy with ease. The Raider full spec begins to retreat, but one shoots off missiles and hits Ed. He falls off the side of a cliff. Jeff comes in and saves him with some ropes. Bernadette is watching and says getting involved disqualifies one as a journalist. Later, on the news, Jess and Ed watch Bernadette's report on the incident. The way she reports it comes off as propaganda, but Ed notes that she reported it in a way which will force people to come and attack Ed, which was the intention of Bernadette's reporting. Jess seems very green when it comes to journalism or geopolitics. Maybe he's just a hard truther. We don't know. He tells Ed that he wants to know everything about him, and Ed sighs, wishing the war would be over. On Earth's California base, Earth Alliance is tasking 3 pilots to take down Ed the Ripper. Jane Houston, known as the White Whale. Rena Amelia, known as Sakura Burst, and Moonlight Mad Dog Morgan Chevalier. We were already introduced to Morgan as he is the pilot of the gun barrel dagger. This is the unit that has a dagger with the Mobius gun barrels as a striker pack. All 3 are determined to bring down Ed the Ripper. And that will do it for this episode. It is obvious that Lowe has the biggest brain of everyone. He decides to take off for Mars so he doesn't have to experience Gundam Seed Destiny for himself. This is the first time we see a unit designed for the media and for information gathering. Sure, there are recon variants of units, but nothing on this level of capturing high fidelity footage for civilians. Next time, we will learn of a sexy past between Ed the Ripper and Jane Houston, the White Whale. Ed will also encounter Moonlight Mad Dog in space, and Rena will also go one-on-one with Ed as they both pilot the Sword Calamity. But that will do it for this episode, coordinators. Remember, Bernadette is right. If you involve yourself into your journalism, congrats, you now have a biased data set. Peace.